The lakeside city of Kisumu, where the Lake Region Economic Bloc is holding a legislative assembly caucus meeting today at St. John's Manor Hotel in Kisumu. The meeting will serve to orientate the assembly caucus on the formation of the bank and the draft assembly bill, which will be used to ratify the bloc in all the county assemblies. Each of the 14 counties will send a delegation headed by the speaker and deputy, minority and majority whips, and their deputies, clerks of the county assemblies, chairpersons of budget and finance committees. And the meeting will be chaired by Kakamega Governor Wycliffe Oparanya and Bomet Governor Joyce Leboso. We'll bring you this event live as it unfolds in Kisumu. For now, let's bring our reporter Kevin Ogutu for some insights there. Kevin, good morning, and perhaps can you give us a background of what this economic bloc is all about? Because we know there are other economic blocs in place already. For example, the FCDC, the Mount Kenya economic bloc. How different is this one?
A very good morning, Yusuf Ibrahim. Actually, it's quite a chilly morning right here at the lakeside city of Kisumu. And as you've mentioned, we expect a host of delegation from the 14 counties that make up the Lake Region Economic Bloc. These are counties drawn from Western, Nyanza, and part of Rift Valley regions, which form this particular economic bloc. So, as you've asked, I'll give you a bit of background of the Lake Region Economic Bloc. Actually, the 14 counties, courtesy of the pioneer governors, came up with the idea somewhere in the year 2014. And with this, they actually commissioned the Deloitte company to actually try and do a blueprint on the best way to have such an economic bloc. And that is how the Lake Region Economic Bloc was formed. So when we're talking about the Lake Region Economic Bloc, we have like three key areas of focus where the 14 counties are focusing on. We have the production, where we are looking at the productive sector, for that matter. We're looking at actually tourism together with agriculture. And then, of course, we have the social part of it, where we have the education and the health bit of it. And then lastly, we have the enablers, where we have ICT, finance, and infrastructure. So talking about one of the key things you've mentioned there, which is orienting the Legislative Assembly on the formation of a regional bank, this actually falls under the third sector, which is the financing. And this is one area that the economic bloc governors, together with every other party involved, have been pushing so much so that they can have a regional bank from where they can very comfortably and with their own terms get credit for the purposes of development for the entrepreneurs coming up in the various counties. So actually we expect a host of delegations from the 14 counties that make up the Lake Region Economic Bloc. And Yusuf, I'm a bit lucky to have with me the CEO of Lake Region Economic Bloc, is none other than Michael Abalawanga. Michael, the President commissioned, launched the Lake Region Economic Bloc in 2015, and to date we don't have legal structures. What do you have to say about this?
Thank you. You know, the process started, and it has to go through a lot of legal process and go through a lot of goodwill and lobbying from the governors themselves to be together and be united, and putting the 14 counties together with the governors sitting and assemblies together and all the administrative structures of the counties is not easy. So the good idea is before 2015, before the devolution conference, Kisumu, where the president launched the blueprint, there was some at least boardroom negotiation, tete having of tea with one governor and the other, and there must have been so few governors who are active to see this dream come true. Then, you know, after that, there was a policy and legislative analysis gap, which was in place. There was a draft of legal instrument, which was to bring the 14 governors together. And they faced a lot of challenges because, you see, if you wanted to have resources together, then who are you? You can't be amorphous. You must be a legal entity and legally instituted to operate business. So the process took long, and we went through electioneering period. Immediately after election, you can see from January we embarked on dealing with the legal institutionalization, legal issues and institutionalizing the bloc first, which so far on 26 March, the 14 governors signed the legal agreement in Kakamega. And now the next stage for this legal instrument to operate under Article 33 of the legal agreement, the county assemblies has to ratify it, adopt and ratify. So individual county assemblies from each member county have to introduce this in their assemblies and adopt it and ratify it. So today we are going to take the assembly leadership. We have 10 delegations from each assembly, from the 14 assemblies. And the 14 governors are also here, and the speakers are also here to discuss. This is a process of legislative sensitization. First of all, we need to take them through the blueprint. After taking the blueprint, then we take them through the bills, which will introduce the legal agreement in the assemblies. So after this, they're supposed to go and introduce the bills in the assemblies. So we hope that the deliberations today is noble. And you know, the reason for this to happen cannot be overemphasized. And the people in this region, over 10 million people, are so eager and anxious to see into the operationalization of the electric economic bloc. So we welcome all the assembly leadership today, and we let us discuss and have the assemblies now take their time to enact the bill.
And so will it be right to say that once they adopt this particular bill, then it will be a smooth sail and the realization of the Lake Region Economic Bloc?
Yeah, under Article 13 of the legal agreement, 1/3 of the member county assemblies, if 1/3 of the member county assemblies ratifies the legal agreement, which means 4 to 5 counties or the 14 counties, then all the other counties will be bound and will be good to go.
The regional bank is a key priority of the Lake Region Economic Bloc, and the bloc has find it a bit difficult getting the contribution from the member states. How is this doing right now?
Yeah, the bloc has not found it a bit difficult. The only thing is you can see now the bloc is aggressively manifesting visibility and understanding of the whole thing. This is what we are going to do with the assemblies today, because the blueprint looked at the key 3 sector areas, which is production, which is the socio-economic aspect, and the enablers. So enablers, you know, they have the financial services, infrastructure, and ICT. So we need to have money to enable you to deal with the economic issues in a region. So if you have grouped together, come together for economic purpose, the best flagship project for an enabler in the financial services is money. And you see the World Bank, the 2 Bretton institutions, the IMF and the World Bank, you can see the European Union, you can see African Union, African Development Bank in Abidjan, and East Africa Development Bank. You cannot claim to be having an economic unity over different institutions if you don't have a development bank. So this is in the blueprint, and the only challenge is the blueprint now we have it, but you know counties are going ahead with their CIDP progress, County Integrated Development Plan. This is why we talk to Assembly. For the counties who are complete, and they need to have a motion to go to Assembly to amend the CIDP to integrate, to incorporate the blueprint, what is in the blueprint, so that when we have Economic Council, the LRB Economic Council meeting, they now review and check if all the member counties have reviewed their CIDP to incorporate. We need to have the bank. This is a development project. And the member counties have agreed to contribute 200 million. You cannot just, you can't just do that, put it in the budget and assume that you'll get the money. No. It has to go through as a project in the CIDP, then go to ADP, then find its way to the 2018-2019 budget. That's what the assemblies know very well, and that's the situation we have, the experience we had in Noma Bay. So it goes, it finds its way to the CIDP, ADP, and 2018-2019 budget, which is currently going on. So once it is in the budget, then the assembly approves. Once the assembly is approved, then the counties are now able to contribute the money to the region. And the money will be put in a fixed deposit account, a special purpose account, specifically for the project. No one will touch it until the contribution will be ready. And we are also, our chairman is just writing a letter this week, the controller of budget and central bank, to notify them of this process. So it's a clear and noble process, and it is one of the first flagship project that is focused on. And it will be launched in Bomet. The electric economy we're going to have is going to, we will host yearly investment conference every year, but this year is in Bomet, and that's where the flagship project will be launched, the bank project.
Thank you very much, Mr. Abala. Actually, we will be expecting more after the meeting here. Yusuf, that was it from the CEO of the Lake Region Economic Bloc, Mr. Michael Abalawanga, giving us a bit about what has been going on in the bloc and the might that they actually expect to achieve from this session today. From Kisumu, that's all we have for you, Yusuf Ibrahim. Back to you in studio.
Thank you very much, Kevin, for that comprehensive update from Kisumu. Just a reminder, we're going to carry that event live for you right here on KTN News once the caucus starts its sitting any moment from now. Over to